Adrian was fighting with his secretary again. This time, he swore the breakup would stick. At 1 a.m., he stumbled into my arms, eyes bloodshot. Chloe's young and fun and gorgeous, but she's clueless. She doesn't love me. I'm done with her. Honey, I finally get it. You're the only one who's ever loved me. Put up with me. Let's have a baby. Once there's a kid, my heart stays home and Chloe can't shake me, not even a tremor. I stayed silent for a beat, then slid the divorce papers I'd prepared across the nightstand.
Sign.
I don't want you either. Divorce? He looked like I'd told the world's worst joke. Shock flipped straight to fury. Serena, how many times this year have you threatened divorce? You never go through with it. What's the point? 8 years, and you want to erase everything because I made the mistake every man on earth makes? His voice kept rising, like volume equaled rightness. I haven't even held Chloe's hand. Technically not cheating. Can you quit the drama? I dropped my gaze, pulled a tired smile. Adrian, this year you and Chloe broke up and made up dozens of times. You've said the same lines dozens of ways. I can't tell real from fake anymore, and I'm done trying. Call it drama if you want, I said, pushing the papers closer. Sign. I'm exhausted. I was always just his fallback plan, the spare tire. If the love's gone, let me go. Why keep me dancing on the sidelines? He froze, then snatched the agreement, shredded it, and pitched the confetti into the trash. A heartbeat later, he wrapped me up, chin on my crown, voice soft as fleece. Serena, I swear Chloe's over. It's late. Let's sleep. He paused, adding like a favor. Tomorrow I'll take you house hunting. You'll feel better. That's our wretched ritual. Whenever Chloe throws him out, I hand him the decline back. Over the past 12 months, he's bought me 28 apartments. He forgets I'm chairwoman of Vanstec. I can buy my own zip code. I rolled away, voice flat. I'll print a fresh copy tomorrow. He smirked, certain I'd forgiven him again. Then he spooned me, warm breath at my nape. Honey, remember. Give me a baby. As I twisted free, his phone rang. Babe, pick up, your cutie's here. The saccharine ringtone sliced through the hush. He scrambled out barefoot, whispering down the hall. Baby, don't cry, I swear I didn't touch her. The voice on the line kept wailing. He paced, frantic. I flipped over, blinking at the ceiling. Tears ran dry years ago. The door burst open. He barreled in, camera aimed. See? She's asleep, would I lie? Humiliation scorched me. I yanked the quilt over my head. He tore it off. The phone's glare slapped me like a spotlight. I squeezed my lid shut but still caught Chloe's smirk on the screen. Adrian, babe, I seriously don't mind. Serena's your real wife, after all. I slapped the phone away. I'm trying to sleep. Adrian froze. You're awake? I thought. Chloe shrieked, faux sobbing. Adrian, babe, the screen went black, freaking out. Before the sentence ended, he bolted. Emergency at Vanstec. I have to go. The door slammed. In the dark, my heart spasmed. 3 years dating, 5 married. How did we crash here? We pulled all-nighters together, toasted clients until dawn, built the company brick by brick. The bigger Vanstec grew, the colder he turned. Conversation died. Birthdays, anniversaries, Valentines, no surprises, just silence. I told myself old couples don't need sparks. Then Chloe showed up. Bright new assistant, deadly with spreadsheets, golf swings, and impossible clients. Adrian looked at her like she was a sunrise he'd never seen. Too proud to be his caged songbird, she kept him hooked by staying just out of reach. Tonight's tantrum? She'd ridden home with a male colleague. While I stared at the ceiling, my screen lit. Predictably, Chloe. Photo. Adrian in silk pajamas, swirling wine at a glass wall. Serena. Adrian, babe, safe. Get your beauty sleep. I felt eerily calm, amused, even. Back when I first sniffed their flirtation, I confronted her. She rolled her eyes. Serena. I keep turning him down. It's tiring. Could you leash your own, babe? Next morning, Adrian stormed in. Chloe saves me hours of work. Gifts are gratitude. You scene-bombed the office, trying to wreck her career. So innocent, both of them. Only I play villain. To prove something, Chloe started minute-by-minute reports. Her birthday. Adrian books a Michelin chef, declares a company holiday. Valentine's. Drones stitch her profile across the sky. Finish with pink meteor shower. Work anniversary. He gifts a diamond-encrusted employee badge at morning briefing. No need for bulletins. The gossip's company-wide. When I didn't reply, she FaceTimed. I used to panic decline. Now I hit accept. Surprise flickered across her face before the faux smile slid on. She angled the phone to Adrian dozing on a sofa. He's wiped. Just crashing here, she whispered. I'll take the guest room, promise. I'm not trashy. Mid-sentence, Adrian yanked her down. Chloe, say yes and I'll divorce Serena tomorrow. I'm so over her. Every night I come home to that lifeless face, I feel like life's hopeless. All she does is revolve around me at the office and the house. No hobbies, no friends, just a shadow glued to my heels. It's suffocating. My mind went blank, and a dense ache spread across my chest. So the 8 years I'd stood by him were, in his eyes, nothing but a choking chain. Maybe to make sure I heard every syllable, Chloe suddenly raised her voice. Adrian, babe, I told you I won't be the other woman. You're still married. What's the point of telling me this? Adrian fell silent for a few seconds, then answered with a hint of grievance. Cutie, do you think I'm too old? I'm only 5 years older than you. There's no generation gap. Chloe shoved him away. Stop changing the subject. Deep down, you just can't bear to divorce her, right? The next second, Adrian's face darkened. He spun away like a sulking kid. I'm tired. Going to sleep. Tears burst from Chloe's eyes and splashed onto his cheek. He clicked his tongue in annoyance, yet still got up to kiss the tears away. Good girl, wait a little longer. Once the company goes public and I get Serena's equity stake back, I'll divorce her. The video froze at that instant. A fresh wave of sorrow hit me. Tears I thought had dried forever flooded out again. This company had been built with the settlement from my parents' car crash. When we first drafted the divorce agreement, I naively split my shares with him. Now he wanted even the half left in my hands. Since he refuses a peaceful parting, I don't owe him mercy. My trembling fingers dialed my lawyer. My voice was ice calm. Redraw the papers. Van Steck is my premarital property. Not a single share leaves my name. At dawn, I picked up the new agreement from the law firm and headed to the office to have him sign. My phone rang, his best buddy calling. Mrs. Vance, your babe's wasted at Velvet. Come fetch him, please. Call Chloe, I said flatly.
We did.
She told us to call you. He hesitated. You two fighting? He dragged us out at midnight, gulping vodka and whiskey without a word. If he keeps going, something bad'll happen. When I stayed silent, he added, Look, years together, everyone gets bored. Chloe's just a shiny toy for kicks. The phase will pass and he'll come home. If it bugs you that much, get a fling yourself, call it even. I snorted. Send me the room number. I've got a document to sign. Relief spilled through the line. Knew you'd be reasonable, sis. I pushed open the door. Booze hit me like a fog. Adrian still wore that silk pajama set, collar gaping, eyes unfocused, sprawled on the couch. His buddies scrambled up. He's yours. We need sleep. He waved me over with that familiar lazy smile. I walked up stone-faced. He yanked me into his arms and buried his burning face against my shoulder. His body shook, and soon hot tears soaked my blouse. He rasped, Chloe, you're heartless. It was freezing and you threw me out without a jacket. I only kissed your eyes because I couldn't stand to see you cry. I promised not to touch you before the wedding, but a whole year. Who dates this miserably? I stood frozen while he clung to me. Only after a long moment did I whisper, You love her that much? Adrian lifted his head, blinked, realized I wasn't the one he expected, and hurled me away. Who are you? Don't touch me. You're not Chloe. Get lost. I want Chloe. I staggered back, crashed into the coffee table. Bottles smashed. Shards sliced my palm, yet I felt nothing. I pulled the glass out, flicked off the blood, and held the divorce papers toward him. Sign, and you can be with Chloe. His gaze landed on my bleeding hand. Panic flashed as he caught it and blew gently. Honey, you're hurt. Does it hurt? I tugged free and shoved the pen at him. Sign. He flung the papers away like a sulking child and wrapped his arms around my waist. Honey, I won't sign. I promised no divorce. You said we'd have a baby, remember? The pages lay soaking in spilled alcohol, ink bleeding into black clouds. This was the second time. The first he'd called me hysterical. Now he played the drunk clown. Tears threatened. I tilted my head, forced them back, and slapped him. Adrian, what more do you want? I'm stepping aside. I'm giving you freedom. Just sign. Is it that hard? He trapped my wrist, gave me a soft, sloppy smile. Honey, don't be mad. Your hands hurt. Hitting me will only make it worse. The words drove into me like a dull blade. A year ago, I'd been covered in bruises and had still forgiven him under the same sugar-coated coaxing. I'd let myself walk into the same trap again. He knew exactly how to pull my strings, one slap, one kiss, and I'd sprint back to him. Not this time. I raised my other hand and struck with everything I had. Serena, Adrian's just drunk. How can you hit him? Chloe's sharp voice cracked from the doorway. Adrian's eyes lit up. He lurched toward her. Chloe, I knew you couldn't stay away. She steadied him, then turned on me. Serena, the company's IPO roadshow is at noon. You know how crucial this reception is. Do you have to solve marital fights with slaps? How will we face the investors with his face like that? If anyone asks, am I supposed to say the CEO was beaten by his own honey? I almost laughed at her nerve. Taylor, remind me, on what authority does a secretary lecture the chairwoman? Even if Adrian skips the reception, so what? You're a little assistant. Aren't you overstepping? Chloe's face went white. Tears pooled instantly. Fine, I won't interfere. When the investors complain, I'm the one who bleeds into a glass again. Last time I ended up with a stomach ulcer, so be it. I gave a cold smile. Have you ever really taken a drink for him? How about today you finish both his glass and mine? Whenever we had a business dinner, she always hid behind me and shoved me, the chairwoman, to the front line. I drank until I threw up at the table, while she busied herself patting Adrian's back and boiling soup for him. He hadn't even had more than a few sips. Chloe's face froze, and tears burst their banks in an instant. Serena, you just want to get back at me. You can't hang on to your own babe, so you take it out on me. She made a show of pushing Adrian away. I quit. I'm resigning. Adrian sobered up completely. He locked his arms around her and glared at me in blame. Serena, Chloe's thinking of the company. Can't you give her an inch? Then he turned and coaxed her softly. Chloe, you're my right arm. Van Steck can't lose you. We promised we'd work side by side till retirement. No quitting allowed. With that, he let her out without so much as a backward glance. In the car, Chloe naturally followed Adrian into the back seat. Serena, I still need to go over the reception itinerary with Adrian. Would you mind taking the front? I was already buckled in. I didn't answer. Adrian waved a hand. Ignore her. Let's get down to business. I shut my eyes, reached over, and tapped the car's playlist for something to calm me. Every one of my playlists had vanished. Only one title glared back, songs Chloe Baby loves most. I inhaled slowly. The driver stammered. Chairwoman, I didn't. I know. My voice was level. The car's filthy. Have it gone by tomorrow. Adrian's head snapped up, eyes razor sharp. Serena, what do you mean? Chloe clutched his sleeve, rims of her eyes reddening. Adrian, don't be mad. Serena's calling me filthy, that's all. The reception is what matters. I'm just an assistant. Dignity is optional. A little humiliation won't kill me. Adrian shot me a murderous look. Serena, we'll settle this tonight. Settle? He actually thinks I'll give him the chance? I pulled out my phone and texted my lawyer, prepare the divorce filing. Evidence coming. Adrian mistook my silence for surrender and smirked. With that temper of yours, no one else would put up with you. When we reached Van Steck, Chloe fussed over Adrian right in front of me, straightening his tie, smoothing his hair, pressing a cold compress to a cheek that didn't even need it. Assistant salary, honey's workload. My life is so hard. Adrian hurried to soothe her. There. Raise tomorrow, double. I smiled sweetly. Why not just marry her and make her honey for real? Adrian hissed under his breath. Serena, enough. You're 5 years older. Act your age. I lifted a brow. Weren't you the one who said, only 5 years last night? When did I? He froze. You heard everything? What else? Just then several investors walked in. Chairwoman, Adrian, long time no see. How have you been? At the reception, Chloe, true to form, pushed me to the forefront to schmooze. I'd barely lifted my glass when she shoved me from behind. Red wine splashed across my face. Alcohol stung my eyes shut. Mocking laughter rippled through the crowd. Mortified, I turned to leave, but Chloe caught my arm. She snatched a napkin and scrubbed my face raw. Chairwoman, wine is meant to be sipped. Gulp like that, and you're the joke of the table. Her hand ground against my skin, as if trying to erase it. I raised my arm to push her off. My fingers had barely brushed her shoulder when Adrian strode over, stepped between us, and slapped me. The crisp crack echoed. The banquet hall fell dead silent. Serena, you can't even hold a glass. What can you do? You're a disgrace. Chloe kindly helps you, and you try to hit her? Get out. Cupping my burning cheek, eyes streaming from wine and tears, I choked out. Adrian. She pushed me. Am I not allowed to defend myself? His face darkened further. He shoved me roughly. Chloe shove you? Ask the room, did anyone see it? Stop shifting blame. You only look worse. I stumbled, steadied myself, and suddenly laughed. I'd actually tried to explain, as if he might side with me. Hadn't he always chosen Chloe? Openly, unshakably? What was I still hoping for? 8 years of love had thinned to tasteless water. How could it compete with fresh, thrilling sweetness? The absurdity hit me like cold water. Head down, I murmured. I despise myself too, should have walked away long ago. He didn't even register the words, only lowered his voice. Good, you know you're wrong. Quit tossing the D word around. People will think we're actually divorcing. Go clean yourself up and come back. I'll smooth things over. Under the crowd's knowing stares, I hurried toward the door. Behind me, Adrian announced apologetically. Sorry for the scene, folks. Chairwoman has a childish streak. I'll drink 3 penalties myself. Chloe chimed in at once. Adrian, it's my fault. I upset Chairwoman. I'll take 3 penalties too. My step faltered, as if a knife had slid between my shoulder blades. Nails bit into my palms, reopening half-healed wounds. The investors were watching. I couldn't make a scene. But I would not swallow this humiliation. After scrubbing the wine from my dress, I called my assistant. Draft a CEO dismissal notice immediately. Grounds: Adrian's personal misconduct. The new CEO will be chosen from the VPS. Announce it company-wide tomorrow. The assistant hesitated. Chairwoman, does Mr. Vance know? I met his gaze. He'll find out tomorrow. Seeing I wasn't joking, he sucked in a breath and rushed off. I had always deferred to Adrian inside these walls. Staff looked to him by habit. Little by little, the chairwoman had become mere backdrop. Now I would reclaim everything that was mine. When the company business was done, I bundled every photo and video Chloe had sent me this past year and forwarded the lot to my lawyer. After reviewing it, he said carefully, Ms. Vance, this is more than enough to support your divorce. I only wonder if you've had it all along, why wait until now? I was silent for a long moment, then gave a soft, bitter laugh. Maybe because, even after the betrayal, I still wanted to give those 8 years a dignified ending. This past year, he had hurt me again and again, yet I had never once thought of driving him out of the company. Even when we talked about dividing the assets, I'd still planned to give him half the equity. After all, we had built Vanstech together. And what had he done? He'd actually schemed to leave me with nothing. So this is how ruthless a man can turn when his heart goes cold. I'll leave the divorce in your hands, I told the lawyer, and with those words I finally let go of the last shred of attachment. Back home, I booked the first flight to Crescent. Once the company announcement and the divorce papers went out, Adrian would definitely come hounding me. I might as well buy myself some peace. While I packed, I realized that in the huge walk-in closet my clothes occupied only a tiny corner. Everything else was his. Dozens of bespoke suits, hundreds of shirts, an entire wall of Swiss watches, shelves of cologne. I'd always thought we were content with a simple life. Turns out that was just me. All these luxury items had been bought after Chloe appeared. A man really does start caring about his image once he's in love. I took only the documents I needed and dumped the rest, including my wedding band, straight into the trash. When I wheeled my suitcase to the door, Adrian walked in at the exact same moment, fingers laced with Chloe's. Seeing me, Adrian jerked his hand away, guilt flickering across his face. Honey, I'm sorry I hit you at the gala. I did it for your own good. With so many investors and employees watching, you would have been the one humiliated if the standoff dragged on. I walked past him without a word. When he spotted the suitcase, his face tightened. He grabbed my wrist. Honey, where are you going with that? I shook him off, voice calm. Taking a trip to clear my head. He held on, eyes locked on mine. Chloe's gaze flashed with jealousy. Smiling, she looped her arm through his. Adrian babe, Serena made a scene in front of everyone. She'll be too embarrassed to show up at Vansteck for a while. Let her go hide till the headlines cool off. Only then did he let go. I'll drive you to the airport. Vansteck will be fine with me at the helm. Enjoy yourself. I ignored him, spun around, and slapped Chloe hard. Sorry, but the shove you gave me today needs to be paid now. Otherwise, it'll fester. Serena. Chloe cupped her reddening cheek, sobbing. You're still accusing me? If Adrian babe and I hadn't toasted table after table to smooth things over, who would have cleaned up your mess? Enough. I cut her off, suddenly finding her pretense hilarious. Such a burden for a mere secretary to keep rescuing the chairwoman. Maybe I should give you a nice long sabbatical to rest. She froze, then sneered. Fire me? Adrian babe runs Vansteck. Do you even have that power? I actually laughed. Oh, really? Chloe. Adrian barked. Serena is still the chairwoman. Watch your tone. Chloe's face crumpled. She bit her lip, voice quivering. Yes, Mr. Vance. A powerless little assistant like me deserves to take the blame and get slapped. It's all my fault. Tears brimmed in her eyes. Fine, I quit. I'll leave right now so you two lovebirds can make up. I've always been the spare, anyway. She ran to the curb, waving for a cab, then stumbled and collapsed on the pavement, sobbing softly. Adrian panicked. In 3 strides, he scooped her into his arms. Don't talk nonsense. No one at Vansteck can touch you. Hush now, he cradled her, then glanced at me torn. Serena, get yourself to the airport. Chloe's in no state for me to leave. Text me when you land. Traveling alone worries me. Nestled in his arms, Chloe shot me a victor's smirk. I arched a brow and chuckled. Chloe, you sure look happy digging through my trash. Both of them froze, faces cycling between green and white. I slid into the waiting car, rolled the window down, and even the plane trees lining the street looked lusher. Letting Adrian go was effortless. No more counting minutes for him to come home. No more wondering whether he'd snuck off to Chloe. The wreckage of our marriage had finally dissolved into the past. When the plane pierced the clouds, the sea of white outside the window surged like the boundless new life unfolding ahead of me. Adrian carried Chloe over the threshold into a house without Serena. It was the first time he'd ever brought her home, and surprisingly, she dropped her usual bashful act. By rights, after chasing him for a year, she should be ecstatic now that she'd won. Yet Adrian only set her on the couch and turned to leave. Adrian babe. Chloe hooked his neck and offered her lips, all previous aloofness gone. Let's be together. Adrian stiffened. One thought roared in his skull. Push her away. He obeyed it on instinct. Chloe toppled back onto the cushions, stared for a second, then laughed. No need to honor that silly rule anymore, she purred, rising and pressing against him again. Remember? I said you couldn't touch me before the wedding. Her fingers trailed across his chest, voice like silk. Let's go to the master bedroom. Adrian shoved her aside, the excuse sounding lame even to him. Serena's things are still in there. It doesn't feel right. Resentment flashed through Chloe's eyes, but her smile held. Then the guest room. His Adam's apple bobbed. He shook his head. The whole house feels wrong. Slippers in the foyer, coffee mugs on the table, their wedding portrait on the wall. How could he sleep with another woman under Serena's lingering gaze? I'll drive you home. He stepped back, voice rough. It's been a long day. I'm not in the mood. Before she could argue, he yanked her outside, shoved her into the car, and sped off. At her building, he hauled her out, slammed the door, and roared away without a backward glance. Chloe stood on the curb a moment, then composed herself with a practiced shrug. She knew Adrian. This past year she'd wound him tight, push him away, reel him back, whenever she pleased. Now that she'd suddenly switched to surrender, he was only playing hard to get to wrestle back a scrap of pride. Let's see how long you can posture, she smirked, strolling inside. Within 3 hours, that man would come crawling back like a lovesick pup. Yet in the car, Adrian's pulse was running wild for no reason. In the past, whenever Serena was furious, she would cry, scream, tear the house apart. This time she was eerily calm. She had simply produced the divorce papers, and when he refused, she hadn't argued, hadn't shouted. He still remembered the last time divorce came up. Serena had smashed every breakable thing in the house. Driving on, Adrian grew more distracted, his thoughts tangling. A moment's lapse, and the car slammed into the roadside barrier.
Bang!
His forehead crashed into the airbag. Black spots swam across his eyes. He staggered out, clutched the rail for balance, blood trickling from his temple. Serena, what the hell are you pulling? He ground the words out, yanked his phone from his pocket, but the call went straight to a cold, dead tone. A chunk seemed ripped from his chest. The world dimmed, and he crumpled. When he woke, it was already the next morning. Beside the bed, Chloe's eyes were red and swollen, her sobs ragged. Adrian, babe. The company. I fired you. They fired me too. That vicious woman Serena sent the order right after the gala. It hit inboxes this morning. Adrian jackknifed upright. Fired? On what grounds? Who signed off? Serena. Chloe wept prettily. She cited personal misconduct, and now the whole building is calling me your other woman. I don't care, make her pay. Divorce her, grab her equity stake, drive her out. Adrian shut his eyes. His voice came out ice cold. I'm not divorcing. Chloe's face froze. Then what am I? Some disposable side piece. Disgust flooded him. How had he ever imagined this petulant girl could replace Serena? What else? He sneered. Chloe's face drained of color. Before she could reply, he added, flat and final. Chloe, get lost. You're not even worth keeping as the other woman. I'm done. She stared a second, then swung her handbag, battering him wildly. You bastard, Adrian. I'll destroy you. Security rushed in and dragged her out, still shrieking. The blows reopened Adrian's wound. Blood blossomed through the gauze.
His phone rang.
Seeing an unknown number, he grabbed it. Serena? A crisp female voice answered. Mr. Vance, I'm Ms. Vance's counsel. The divorce petition and asset split agreement are in your inbox. No divorce, he barked, fingers gouging the sheet. The lawyer kept her neutral tone. Ms. Vance has retained us to proceed. He hung up. The room spun. A boulder sat on his ribs. Gray blurred the edges, and he passed out again. The week-long Crescent vacation over, I headed straight to Vance Tech for the new CEO vote. As I reached the glass doors, I saw Adrian leaning there, cigarette burning, a shock. He'd quit 8 years ago. Smoke curled around a face haggard with exhaustion. When he saw me, he stubbed the cigarette, waving the air clear. For a second I faltered. He still remembered I hated the smell. His voice was raw gravel. Honey, I was wrong. Give me one last chance, okay? Chloe's history. This past year I lost my mind, but the one I've always loved is you. Life's long. Don't execute me for one mistake, please? I'd heard every line before. He always knew the script, but the story never changed. Forgiving him is easy, yet who mends the gouges in me? I met his gaze and felt nothing. My pulse stayed steady. The storm had moved on. You're right, I said. Life is long. I still believe in love, just not with you. His eyes went bloodshot. He reached, hand trembling. Serena, keep the company. Take everything, just don't leave. Words cracking, he dropped to his knees. I swear I'll become whoever you need. Honey, please, no divorce. I can't take it. The same meal, the same vow, the same tears. Does he honestly think another encore will soften me? When I didn't move, a flicker of hope lit his face. Honey, this time I'll change. I laughed softly and shook my head.
Don't call me that.
The papers are filed. 8 gigs of evidence. Your lawyer can show you the playlist. The light in him guttered out until his chin sank to his chest. I walked past without another glance. Inside, employees greeted me with bright smiles. Riley, I exhaled. A year's bitterness dissolved. Once the divorce finalized, I bought out Adrian's share at market salary for his 5 years of work. Surprisingly, he waived every communal asset, even the 28 properties. The only thing he fought for was the house we'd shared, claiming it was his last harbor, the roof he'd haunt. Neighbors told me he drank himself numb, that guttural sobs woke the block. Then came word he was behind bars. Chloe, jobless and doxed online as a serial homewrecker, slipped into the house one night. They fought. She plunged from the second-floor balcony. Quinn. The prison later forwarded his visitation request. I refused without pause. In this marriage, my single regret is waiting so long to wake up, gifting him countless chances to wound me. We are done. We will never meet again. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If it moved you, like and share. Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.